Most family enterprises believe they're aligned until a real decision needs to be made. And that is when something unexpected happens. Not disagreement, but confusion, hesitation, or even conflict at times. Because what looked like alignment was never actually tested or verified. In my work with family offices and their family enterprises, one of the most common risks that I see is not market risk and not investment risk. These matter, of course, but alignment risk. And more specifically, assumed alignment. It shows up quietly. It does not feel like a problem. In fact, it often feels like a strength. But over time, it becomes one of the most expensive risks a family can carry. What does assumed alignment look like really? So, this is the question we'll answer first. Based on my experience, in practice, it typically sounds like this: we all want the same thing, we all have the same goals or similar goals, we trust each other, we have always been on the same page. And early on, that may actually be true, especially in the first generation wealth stage where decision making is centralized, the vision is clear, and leadership is unified. However, as the family grows, things change. More stakeholders sit at the table. There are different time horizons. There are different risk tolerances, perhaps even different definitions of success. And yet, the assumption of alignment, we all want the same thing, remains. So, where does it break? The problem is that alignment is not tested until a real decision forces it to the surface. For example, a liquidity event occurs, a major investment decision needs to be made, a capital call comes up, you may start to hear, "This is not what I agreed to," or "I thought we were more conservative," or "I assumed we were prioritizing income." This is not a breakdown of trust, but rather a breakdown of clarity. So, why is this risk so notable and perhaps even dangerous? What makes it particularly dangerous is that it unfortunately compounds over time, because when alignment is not explicit, decisions get delayed, opportunities are missed, friction builds quietly over time, and governance becomes reactive instead of proactive. And in some cases, families begin to avoid decisions altogether in order to avoid conflict. Not because they lack capability, but because they lack alignment. So, how do strong families handle this differently? Strong family enterprises do something very unique. They do not assume alignment, they design for it instead. What does that mean? For example, clearly defining investment objectives, documenting risk tolerance, establishing decision making frameworks, creating governance structures that surface those differences early, and most importantly, they revisit this alignment regularly. It's not a one and done exercise. Alignment is not static at the end of the day, and it evolves as the family evolves. If there is one takeaway I would like to leave you with, it is this: do not confuse trust with alignment. Trust, of course, is important, but trust without clarity can create blind spots over time. Those blind spots tend to show up at the worst possible time. If you are part of a family enterprise or a family office, in navigating decisions where alignment feels you are not alone. This is, in fact, one of the most common dynamics that I see. Often, it is not about fixing a problem, it is about creating clarity before a problem emerges. If this resonates, I am always happy to be a second set of eyes or simply continue the conversation.